Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're rediving into a story that is as beautiful and unsettling as the portrait at its heart. We're talking about Oscar Wilde's masterpiece, The Picture of Dorian Gray. If you've ever wondered about the price of eternal youth and beauty, this novel has some chilling answers. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's explore this tale of vanity, art, and moral decay. Our story begins in Victorian London, in the studio of a talented painter named Basil Hallward. He has just completed his finest work, a portrait of an astonishingly handsome young man named Dorian Gray. Dorian is the very picture of innocence and charm. Basil is so captivated by Dorian's beauty that he feels he has put too much of his own soul into the painting. Enter Lord Henry Wotton, a witty, cynical aristocrat with a talent for saying delightfully dangerous things. He meets Dorian at Basil's studio and is immediately fascinated. Lord Henry begins to fill Dorian's head with his hedonistic philosophy, that beauty and youth are the only things worth having in life, and that one should pursue every pleasure and temptation without hesitation. He tells Dorian that his beauty will one day fade, leaving him wrinkled and old. This thought terrifies Dorian. In a moment of desperate passion, standing before his perfect portrait, he makes a wish. He wishes that the painting would grow old and ugly in his place, while he himself remains forever young and beautiful. He would give anything, even his soul, for that to be true. He doesn't realize it yet, but his wish has been granted. Soon after, Dorian falls madly in love with a young, brilliant actress named Sybil Vane. He's enchanted by her talent on stage, where she plays different heroines every night. He gets engaged to her and invites his friends, Basil and Lord Henry, to watch her perform. But that night, something is different. Sybil, now consumed by her real love for Dorian, finds she can no longer pretend to be someone else on stage. Her performance is terrible. Dorian is horrified and embarrassed. His love was for her art, not for the real girl. He cruelly breaks off the engagement, telling her she has killed his love. Heartbroken, he returns home. When he glances at his portrait, he notices a subtle change. A faint sneer of cruelty has appeared around the mouth. His wish has come true. The portrait is beginning to bear the marks of his sins. Filled with a brief moment of remorse, Dorian decides to apologize to Sybil the next day. But it's too late. Lord Henry informs him that Sybil has taken her own life. Dorian is initially shocked, but Lord Henry convinces him to see it as a tragic, beautiful drama. Instead of feeling guilt, Dorian chooses to embrace a life of sensation and pleasure, letting the paintings suffer the consequences. He locks the hideous, changing portrait away in an old schoolroom at the top of his house, hiding it under a cloth. For the next 18 years, Dorian Gray remains a figure of youthful perfection. He's the talk of London society, admired for his unchanging beauty. But behind this flawless exterior, he leads a double life, exploring every dark and forbidden pleasure the city has to offer. He indulges in every vice, ruins the reputations of men and women, and becomes a corrupting influence on everyone he meets. All the while, the portrait hidden upstairs grows more and more monstrous. Each cruel act, each selfish choice, adds another line of ugliness, another look of evil to the painted face. It becomes a terrifying visual diary of his corrupted soul. Years later, on the eve of Dorian's 38th birthday, Basil Hallward confronts him. Basil has heard the terrible rumors circulating about Dorian and wants to know the truth. He can't reconcile the innocent boy he once painted with the sinister man people whisper about. In a moment of furious pride, Dorian decides to show Basil his secret. He takes him upstairs and unveils the portrait. Basil is aghast. He recognizes his own brushwork, but the face staring back at him is a thing of pure evil. He begs Dorian to repent and pray for forgiveness, but Dorian, filled with a sudden, boiling rage against the man who painted the cursed thing, grabs a knife and murders Basil. He then blackmails an old scientist friend into disposing of the body, sinking further into his moral abyss. The murder haunts Dorian. He tries to escape his guilt through opium dens and distraction, but the face of the man he killed is everywhere. He becomes paranoid, terrified that his secret will be discovered. One night, he's confronted by James Vane, Sybil's vengeful brother, who has been hunting him for years. Dorian cleverly escapes by pointing to his youthful face. convincing James that he couldn't possibly be the man who wronged his sister nearly 2 decades ago. But Dorian's perfect mask is starting to crack. He is tired of his life, tired of the constant fear, and disgusted by the beautiful face that he knows hides a monster. He even tries to perform a good deed to see if it will reverse the damage on the portrait, but he finds the painting only looks more hypocritical. In a final act of desperation, he decides he must destroy the last piece of evidence, the source of his misery, the portrait itself. Believing that destroying it will set him free, he grabs the same knife he used to kill Bezo and stabs the painting. His servants hear a terrible crash and a cry from the locked room. When they finally break down the door, they find the magnificent portrait of Dorian Gray, restored to its original, youthful beauty, hanging on the wall. On the floor lies the body of a withered, wrinkled, and repulsive old man with a knife in his heart. It is only by the rings on his fingers that they identify him as Dorian Gray. The picture of Dorian Gray is a timeless warning about the dangers of vanity, the consequences of our actions, and the idea that true beauty lies within our soul, not our appearance. It's a beautifully written, thought-provoking, and haunting novel that stays with you long after you've finished it. What are your thoughts on Dorian's story? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into classic literature. See you next time.